Welcome to KATHYSRIGHT.com. I'm Kathy. It seems Joe Biden has gotten himself into a bit of a pickle, as the lamestream media does somersaults trying to make Joe look good, trying not to make him look nearly as feeble-minded as the poor man is. The generals that are testifying, that is Milli Vanilli and Secretary Austin, they did answer a lot of questions to the contradiction of what Joe Biden said. They said that they did advise Joe Biden to leave troops, 2,500, maybe up to 3,500, Millie said. But they pretty much threw him under the bus. Not that there was much of a bus. I do believe that Joe Biden had no intentions of making us look good. I think he answers to China. He's answered to China all this time. What makes us think that all of a sudden his allegiance to China has changed? His family made a fortune from China, particularly Hunter Biden. As most of you have heard by now, there was the laptop from hell that revealed the shenanigans and the illegal activity of Hunter Biden, the son, the beloved son of Joe Biden. Lest we not forget James Biden, the brother of Joe Biden, and the quote he said when someone asked him, how do you guys get away with this? This was, I think that guy's name was Bobolinsky. He was on Tucker. Well, that guy had dealings with the Bidens, and he was a witness to their criminal activity. And when asking James Biden, how do they get away with what they were doing, he said, plausible deniability. Now, we haven't forgotten that, but the lamestream media conveniently forgets and or ignores major news developments, things we were talking about a year ago. An entire year ago, we were here talking about Hunter Biden and his laptop from hell. And the news media ignored it. They didn't want the common man to know what a common whore Joe Biden's son really is. And to be perfectly honest, after seeing what I saw of the videos from the laptop, whore is the kindest thing that I could say about Hunter Biden. Oh, that Hunter. At the end of the day, it was pay for play. Everything that they accused Trump of doing, our president, everything that they accused him of, they were doing themselves and had done so multiple times and gotten rich off of it. And Trump did none of it. The dishonest media, silent. Crickets. We also saw the video. Joe Biden saying,
was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't.
I must remind you here that the prosecutor at the time was investigating Burisma, the company that Hunter Biden supposedly worked for and was paid thousands upon thousands per month. It was very well known how crooked that company was.
So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. Got fired.
You know, if you don't fire this prosecutor, you're not getting the money. We have it on tape. That was when he had his wits about him. That was when he had his scruples, so to speak. Oh boy. He bragged about it. But we're supposed to ignore all of this and believe that Joe Biden is now looking after the best interest of the United States of America. You just can't make this stuff up. This administration has told us lie after lie after lie, and then we're supposed to believe them when they tell us we must get the jab? No matter what Joe Biden does, what calamity, how many people he kills, how much of this country he gives away, what he makes us look like, the mainstream media spends all day long cleaning up after him. I mean, cleaning up after him so he doesn't look so bad.
Clean up on aisle 7. Clean up on aisle 7. Thank you.
And forget about our personal liberties? Forget about them? Then Joe Biden, a week ago or so, said to us, as though we were children, that he was losing his patience with us. Now we also find that they lied to us about the amount of Americans left behind in Afghanistan. They said to us, 100 or more. 100 or more is a far cry from the 4,000 that they're saying now. And if they're saying 4,000, you better believe there's got to be more. Let's top that off with a drone strike, killing 10 people in Afghanistan. Not ISIS, not the Taliban, but 10 people, including 7 children, from a drone strike. This is a fundamentally dysfunctional administration. It is dysfunctional. We were at war in Afghanistan honorably for 20 years. Our men and women came home maimed, hurt, disgusted. All of that commitment, all of that honor, all of that hard work for 20 years. And he took us out of there like punks. He dishonored every soldier. Heck, every family of every soldier that served. He dishonored us by doing that, and the reputation of the United States of America. But hey, he's still got the media covering for him.
Clean up on aisle 7.
Cleaning up his messes.
Clean up on
What
aisle
has he
7.
done right?
Thank you.
I can't think of one thing that he's done right.
But my overarching objective, if we cannot make significant progress on racial equity, this country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than you all do, in terms of raw numbers. We're going to have to be working with a whole group of people that in fact are the single most diverse democracy in American history and anywhere in the world. And we got to figure out how to unify this country. And you've been the leaders of being able to do that. Not a joke. And so there's some things that I'm going to be able to do by executive order. And I'm not going to hesitate to do it. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to do what used to, Benita, you probably used to get angry with me during.
Let me remind you, he was speaking to black civil rights leaders at the time. He was on a Zoom interview. Yet the ladies of The View are still singing his praises and making excuses for his behavior, activity, and let's just say his lack of words. You see, Joe had plenty of words before the immigration invasion. It's almost like he planned it. Or maybe Joe is not as feeble as he appears. He sure gave us plenty of clues as to his plans for the redistribution of wealth in this country and the change of demographics that the Democrats need to hold on to power. Because believe you me, it is all about power at any cost. If you followed me on Facebook or Twitter, you've seen the videos of the little children who are being trafficked into this country for sale. For sale. Human sale. Merchandise. Joe knows this. Kamala knows this. They just don't give a rat's behind. That is why they do not want a photo op at the border. Because they are responsible. They know they're not just getting cheap labor coming across the border. They know the human trafficking. They know the train of death that trafficked women are put on that goes through Mexico to our border. They know, yet they let it go on anyway for power. They have better intelligence at their disposal, and they know everything that we know, and they just don't care because it's all about power. Who cares how many people die? Who cares how many women get raped? They know about the rape tree. The Border Patrol knows about the rape tree. Do you know what is one of the most prized possessions that a woman has when she makes that journey to this border? It's the morning after pill, because they expect to get raped. These are not just people from Haiti, Guatemala. It's from all over the world. In their hunger for power, the Democrat Party is allowing this to happen on their watch, and they are staying mum. ABC News is hush-hush. Nothing. Sunny Hostin, she sits on that show talking about how she's Catholic. I'm Catholic, lady. Do your job. Do your due diligence as a reporter. You work for ABC News, after all. Investigate. If I can find out this stuff, you know it. ABC News knew about those girls getting raped on Epstein Island. By the way, Epstein did not kill himself. He got Epsteined. It's become a verb now, to Epstein someone. Well, enough said about the amorals of the world, the amorals. ABC News, NBC News, MSNBC, CBS. Who else? Who else needs to be slapped into place today? I guess I was in that mood today. But right now, I just got to pick on Joe Biden. I got to pick on those generals. I got to pick on them. Somebody's got to say something. I don't know if anybody's out there hearing me. I don't know. Probably not. Does it really matter? But I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to make it known. All this stuff that they're letting us go through, when they could avoid it, they could stop that border. They just don't want to use the word wall. Build the doggone wall. It's so easy. That way we can control this. But no, egos are involved. Money is involved. The cartel is getting rich off of Joe Biden. He must be getting a cut. He is the big guy. That's what Hunter told us. He has got to give the big guy his cut. The whole family gets a cut. Bunch of criminals. On a lighter note, pray tell, Kamala Harris, our VP, she's hired new people to improve her image, her PR. So maybe people will stop calling her, cackling Kamala and Camel. There are so many names for her. It's just ridiculous. But she brought it on herself. I mean, really. That nervous laughter is bothersome. It's annoying. It's all get out. You could be talking about something totally serious, and she'll start laughing and 25,000 people died. Well, things happen. Whatever. I don't think an image fix is going to do it. I think it would have to be a full-on personality rehaul. I mean, there is no cure, as far as I know, for narcissism. And the entire Democratic Party is a narcissistic party. You can't cure that. Some crazy you just can't cure. The olden days, they used to give them shock therapy, but maybe that's what the Democratic Party needs. Shock therapy. Maybe the whole country needs. Hey, maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon, because some crazy person out there might interpret shock therapy as something completely different than what I'm intending. I'm talking about good old-fashioned, with the shock therapy thing. Oh, gosh. Got to be careful what you say nowadays. You just can't, you can't control how people interpret what you say. You really can't. I mean, you could say something with the best of intentions, like Joe Biden, right? Anyways, and people will interpret it completely differently. I had a conversation today with a friend, and somebody was picking on me because of my Catholicism, and then she was asking questions about my Catholicism, and in asking a question, because she's a non-Catholic, but she's a Christian, she was attacked herself by Catholics, my Catholics, and they thought they were defending me and the church. I don't represent the church. I'm part of the church, but it kind of broke my heart, because her heart's in the right place. There's just a lot of people who don't understand the faith. And they say really crazy things. I've heard some crazy things about the church that make absolutely no sense. Like, I read some lady, she said that, a Catholic lady in a group that I'm in, she said that somebody told her that she thought Catholics prayed to the rosary beads. I'm like, to the beads? The beads that we count with? I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, there's so much catechesis that's that needs to be done. And another lady said, oh, she comes from a Catholic country, and that in her country, Catholics have altars in their home. And so, yes, they do worship Mary because they have altars with Mary on it. Well, those are shrines. I mean, people call them, they call them home altars, but those are nothing more than shrines, a special place to pray and honor and remember. And shrines are different because shrines are set up for you to remember, have holy things around you to remind you of all the glories of heaven. And you have your pictures of your family members, don't you? So we have, statues of Mary because we love her. And I have a statue of St. Michael the Archangel. Now, we don't know exactly what archangels look like, but it's a depiction that we're thinking he might look like in our imaginations. So a lot of things that people misinterpret to be Catholic, they misinterpret it because there are some bad elements out there who seek to deceive people, and they literally make literature that they know is untrue about the church. And they know it's untrue when they're writing it. But because the author of all deception is the enemy, we have to be careful the sources of all things that we read. For instance, I had a collection of really old Catholic books, and in it I had a very nice book called the Didache, and it was, put together by Catholics. Now, the Didache they are writings from the early church fathers that they wrote to each other. These are the apostles of the apostles. The disciples of the apostles and the early church. Now, they were writing about things like how we should baptize and how we should handle confession, because in the beginning there was confession where people would stand up at church or in mass and they would say their confession in front of everybody. Well, that became a cause of gossip and scandal. So that's when the confessional became private between an ordained priest and a penitent. So there were so many things about the history of the faith. I will lovingly share those things with you now and in the future for the rest of my life if I can, because there's a lot of misunderstandings. No, we do not pray to the beads. That's just crazy. Somebody once said to me that we worship our Pope. No. There's Catholics I know don't even like this Pope. So we don't worship the Pope. We have to have respect for him because of his position, just like we have to have respect for, dare I say it, Biden. Anyways, from here on out, I would like to be one of the people who helps to clear up any misgivings or misunderstandings amongst Christians about the faith, because I think there's so much room for love. There's so much room for learning, and we need to understand and not go to bad sources for our information, because believe you me, there are bad sources out there whose only intention is to confuse the faithful. And they do it on purpose. They do not want you to know the truth about why Catholics do what they do, because they'd rather you hate the Catholics, because that would put them out of business if you learned the truth about Catholicism. So it's my goal to clear up these misunderstandings and misgivings, because it is unfortunate that my brothers and sisters in Christ don't love each other more. So I love you, and I love this country. This is Kathy of KATHYSRIGHT.com. God bless you, and have a great day. Bye.